Hello and welcome to RPG Tips again. This is, as I promised, my solo example of Mythic. One quick remark that I must do before we get into matters. I'm not going to use every solo random table resource that I use normally for my solo sessions because I wanted to show you how just using Mythic you can do things, and because I want this video to serve as an explanation of all the mechanics that I didn't explain thoroughly in the last videos. Apart from that, I'm not going to get into the details of the mechanics. If I do a fate check, I will just run a script for a fate check that I've programmed, and I won't get the 2d10 and roll them and show you the tables, because I think it's more important to understand how to interpret them than to know the actual mechanics. And lastly, I'm not going to explain the tools that I'm going to be using here, because I plan on doing another video. The next one is going to be a video of the tools that I use, in which you'll understand what the hell is happening here. So the purpose of this video is just for you to follow me, seeing how I use the resources that Mythic offers in order to create a story. Please note that I haven't thought about the story at all. I'm going to be generating it on the fly because I want to be honest with you, and I want you to see how from nothing you can create a coherent story using Mythic. So let's get down to business. I'm going to show you my computer screen now and we'll start playing. Okay, so here we are. This is my setup. On the lower right part, you can see OneNote, which is a very, very useful tool. I'll also talk about it on the tools video. And there you can see my character sheet. I've created a warrior, which is called Norvos, using the rule set Scarlet Heroes, which is an OSR from Kevin Crawford, focused around playing just one character, so that's perfect for solo games. And on the left part, you can see my write-down of the story. Right now, the only thing I know is that Norvos, my character, is in a tavern. Why? Because that's the classical start of any RPG story. Every character starts in a tavern and then bad things happen. So let's see why we are in the tavern. So to know why we are in the tavern, I'm going to roll a detail check, as you can see. And the answer for the detail check is disfavors NPC. What this means is that the reason why Norvos is in this tavern is bad for some NPC that we don't know about. So the typical question now would be, who is he trying to disfavor? And I'm going to roll the descriptions table to try to get a flavorful description for some NPC. Violently damaged. Okay, so it looks like he's maybe pursuing someone. By the way, I know there's a heavy screen flickering with the OneNote window. I may have to disable it. There we go, much better. I hope that the screen tearing is reduced now. So we've said that Norvos, our character, is trying to disfavor someone who is violently damaged. Okay, so the next question to ask is Norvos evil? And I'm going to answer that with a fate check. And the result is a no. So at least we know that Norvos is probably a good guy. Is he pursuing a man? Okay, so we know that it's a woman. Why is he pursuing this woman? To generate this result, I'm going to roll on the actions table, just to see what has this NPC done that would make Norvos chase her. And the table says desert wishes. This is one of those answers in which you just have to have some imagination. So let's say it's someone who is related to wishes and to something bad like desert, make, void. I'm going to say that Norvos is chasing a witch that grants wishes and then takes the person's souls. And the reason why he's chasing her is because the witch granted a wish to Norvos' daughter, and now, in order to save his daughter, he has to find the witch and kill her. And I've also added that Norvos found the witch after she got his daughter's soul, and they fought, and she was injured, but she fled. So he has chased her and followed her tracks to a village deep in the forest. Okay, so now we can set the first scene. If you remember, Mythic frames your actions in different scenes. For the first one, we can now generate our list of NPCs and of threads. If you remember, the threads were the objectives, the quests, the things we want to do. In our case, we have two NPCs, the witch and Norvos' daughter, and our thread is to find and kill the witch. So we can say that the setting is that Norvos has arrived in the village tavern after a long trip through the forest. And our chaos factor is 5 because that's the default value to start. Now remember, the first thing we must do is to check rolling 1d10 against the chaos factor to see if the scene is altered or interrupted. I've rolled a 3, which means that the scene is altered. Now, when you get an altered result, that means that you take the scene as you expected and alter it in the most normal way. So, for example, what I expected was that the tavern was just a normal tavern with some people having dinner and stuff, but as the scene is altered, let's say that the tavern is empty. So, as a player, now I ask, okay, now does the tavern look abandoned? And I'm going to answer this with a fate check. Now, the fate check has said that we get an exceptional no and a random event. So we know that the tavern is empty, but it's clearly not abandoned. There are plates and drinks on the tables. It looks like clearly something has happened. Let's now roll an event check to see what the random event is. The event check that we have rolled is PC positive. Something good happens to Norvos. Good, probably something aligning to the thread that he is following. To know exactly what has happened, I'm going to roll on the descriptions table. The result is calmly ugly, so something good happens related to those words. Let's think about what it can be. Ugly suggests the witch, and calmly suggests that she is relaxed. She is not expecting Norvos here. So something hints us about the location of the witch. Let's see what it is. Now, I couldn't think exactly of a random event that included the witch being relaxed around Norvos, because I didn't want him to find the witch right now. And invoking the I don't know rule, what I interpret this random event as is that the tavern is not empty. People were just hiding because the witch has just passed. So once he enters, he hears a sudden gasp of people, and then some eyes cower and look at him from the tables. And all of the people come back to the tables to greet him. So clearly, if the witch has just passed and people are hiding, they know about her. So Norvos is going to try to get more information with them. So to do this, I could roll just a straight charisma check if I went to the D&D mechanics, or I could use a fate check or a description check. I'm going to roll first a charisma check to see how people like Norvos. Is he trustful? The charisma roll is a 17, which is a pretty high result. So let's say that they are friendly and they tell him about the witch. Let's see what they know. To get this knowledge, I'm going to roll on a detail check. The result is favors NPC. Now, to see which NPC it favors, now we've only got two. We've got Norvos' daughter or the witch. I'm going to roll one die to see which one of those it is, and the story will greatly change depending on the result. So I'm going to roll 1d8, and if it's 1 to 4, the favored NPC will be the witch, and if it's 5 to 8, the favored NPC will be the daughter. It's a 2, so the favored NPC is the witch. A result that favors the witch probably means that the villagers here fear the witch, but they respect her. Maybe she's the village protector or something like that. The witch has made a deal with people in which they don't bother her, and she protects them from wild animals and bandits and things like that. Now I'm in a situation in which I don't know clearly what Norvos would do, because I don't know him that much, because I've just created him. So I can think about two situations. Maybe he asks them directly, okay, where does the witch live, because I want to at least get to her. Or he can try and be stealthy and just get a room for the night and then explore on his own. Let's see what he decides. This is one of those situations in which the Game Master Emulator can also be used as a player emulator. If your character is very detailed and you know his personality, then you can decide straight away what he will do. In my case, I don't really know Norvos that well, so I prefer for his personality to be developed organically once the decisions are taken. The result was a 9, so he will try to be stealthy and just get a room for the night, and try to be able to explore the village and find a witch in the morning. Now, again, depending on your preferences, you could try to roleplay the whole encounter with the bartender, see if he has a room, haggle. It depends on what you like and what you want and what you expect out of your story. In my case, I don't really care that much about it, partly because I wanted this to be a very short example of how these things are generated. We have just finished one scene. The next scene would be he waking up in the morning and trying to explore the village to get some clues about where the witch is hiding. Now, as we can consider this scene to be finished, we can update the chaos factor, which goes down to 4 because the situation is going a bit more favorable to Norvos than how he started. And we have to update the NPCs list. In our case, we are going to add the people from the village. I generated the name of the village previously. It's called Oxland, so I will call them the people from Oxland. Now the session is already uploaded. If you go to github.com/rpg-tips/sessions, you will see that you can read it here to be able to follow it at your own leisure. Anyway, this has been the short example that I wanted to show you to see how Mythic mechanics allow to create a very coherent, interesting story on the fly. Of course, I didn't play various scenes because I wanted the example to be short so people can watch it in like 10 or 15 minutes. I don't really know how much it will be once I edit it, but I hope it's short. If there's any kind of interest in me continuing the story or using more complex things, I would love to do it. I just wanted to do this video to be more on the pedagogical side of showing the Mythic mechanics and not my horrible storytelling. In the next video, as I said, I will show you in detail the tools that I use to play, the advantages that I think they have, and the tools that I have created to play actually. Some apps both for iOS and for Android that I also use as a support for my games, and the philosophy behind the tools that I have created and the way that I play. Of course, as a side note, if there is interest in me continuing the story of Norvos and to see what happens with the witch and his daughter, please say it. Then I'll do it gladly. I'll switch to a bit of a more complex rule set, and I'll start using more generators, and we can see how the story unfolds as I would do in my own solo games. Anyway, this has been all. I hope you have learned something. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye.